Today I am yet again going to be taking a look at a show that I never gave a chance, The Loud House. Now, I basically avoided this show like a plague, and I can't really tell you why. It's just something deep inside of me that won't let me watch this show.
I know why, bro. I know why. It is viewed as one of the most toxic communities around, bro.
Oh.
It's because of the fan fictions,
Oh.
the fan art, the loud cess. They all get freaky with each other and they're all grown men drawing it. It's awful, bro.
It's all flowing back to me. It's flowing back why I never wanted to give The Loud House a chance, and it is because of the fandom. The fandom can be a little bit crazy, and I'm not saying that everybody who enjoys The Loud House is a part of this fandom, but there's certain people out there who will write a fanfic that is 22 million words long, obsessing over it. There is fan art that will literally make you have to bleach your eyes because it's just so absurdly disgusting, and it's all revolving around this brother and his sisters getting freaky. Yeah, it's a little bit weird, so I kind of always avoided this show, especially because the community, if you dislike something that they like, they'll be like, "Oh, it is time, we must crucify him, expose where he lives and tie him up and gouge his balls out of his sack." You know, that's the stuff they'll try to do to you for disliking something that, you know, you could have your own opinion on. So today I shall fear no longer. I am going to be taking a look at The Loud House to see, was it good, was it bad, was it mid, does it deserve to have this crazy niche community? That's what I'm going to be trying to answer today. And if you like content just like this, please make sure to like and subscribe because I upload every single day and you don't want to miss it. That road to 50k in the Pops cosplay is almost at an end. And if you want a place where you could get some more bonus content, my Patreon will be in the description. That includes anime and gaming content. And if you want a place where you can talk about your favorite games, movies, and shows with like-minded people, my Discord will also be in the description. Now let's finally take a look at The Loud House. Taking a look at the highest rated episode on IMDb, the best episode in the series, we have the episode Really Loud Music, and of course, the episode that I land on as being one of the best in the series is a musical. You know, I could get jiggy, I could get down into that, I could dance it up. My blood and my veins are coursing with musical power after watching such an uplifting episode full of so many amazing songs. In all actuality, it was definitely just fine. It's a very predictable plotline, but I guarantee you if I was the target age range watching this, I would not have predicted the entire plot in the first 2 minutes of the episode, but either way, it's still very enjoyable. It's got some good visuals, some good music. What else could you possibly ask for while watching a cartoon episode? So, this episode focuses on a character named Luna Loud, and she really wants to win this contest, and she created a very good song. Play it loud, play it proud.
Play it loud, sorry, I'm not sorry.
You know, it's a rock song. It truly captures her image and who she is as a person. So she wants to submit it, but she just can't because she's worried that it's going to go out to the entire world. And maybe the world just isn't ready for Luna Loud. You know, maybe she's just, you know, overthinking herself. So she starts going around and she's imagining all of her sisters and her brother and her parents are singing their own wild and weird songs. And the first song that we get to hear that isn't from Luna Loud is from the sister who's like a handyman. I don't know any of the sisters or characters' names, by the way, so this is like the handyman sister, and she's like, "Oh, you know, I'm number one at fixing number two," as she's fixing the toilet.
Dub the number one to get the number two to go down.
That was a fine song, you know, it's just all right, you know. And then we go to the princess sister who's like into pageants, and she's singing about how beautiful she is, wonderful, amazing. And then we get to the brainiac sister, whose song I actually did kind of like because, I don't know, just something about it was singing to me. She's just like, you know, I'm in my... Wait, sorry, I gotta get my list. You know, I'm in... Fuck. You know, I'm in my hood with my sisters, studying up on that periodic table. Oh, you know.
In the Palladium, they'll call me the stadium. Repping my hood from coast to coast. I'm better than sliced bread. They calling me burnt toast.
Like, getting down with that. I actually like that one. And then she analyzes her sister and reveals that she's in some kind of psychosis where nobody around her is actually singing. She's imagining it all because she's trying to determine the perfect song. Okay, so There's a couple of cool ones after this where, like, one of the sisters, she's really worried about a text from a dude, and she's texted him XOXO, and he responded tic-tac-toe. Oh, wow, he wants you so bad if he responded tic-tac-toe, girl. Slay up. Slay up. Yeah, that song was just fine. Didn't really care too much for it. There's one that I liked a lot because it's the Gothic sister, and she, like, floats up with these, like, Eldritch nightmare wings, and my initial reaction was like, please slay her! Slay her like an Elden Ring boss that she is! She's carrying a head of a man named Edwin! What is wrong with these creatures? And then there's a clown sister, and she's also singing a song! About, I don't know, I don't really know what she was singing about. She was just getting down to it, and then she, like, ripped off her clothes and was pointing at her own ass within the song. I didn't really understand that logic. I don't know, was it just to be silly and different and oh so fun? I don't know. I don't really know. And then she goes downstairs, and the parents are singing a little bit of country, you know. I wish we were knocking boots on our tractor, shaking our asses a little faster. You know, just, you know, casual country nonsense. They're just shaking their asses. And then she sees her brother, who's playing Dance Dance Revolution, getting down to it, so maybe a song to make them dance. And then the entire fucking world, the entire fucking family, they all go upstairs, and there's this baby just hitting a pretty wild jig to some bubblegum pop, and everybody runs out, and they're like, oh my god, I love this song! And so they all start hitting one big massive jig to this song, a family jig. Everybody's included. Everybody outside is hitting this jig.
It's just whatever.
So Luna realizes that she needs to write a bubblegum pop song, and it's not bad, you know. It's just like that catchy, like go 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 la 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 la, you know. I could write music. I would be fucking beautiful at it. You'd be creaming right now if you heard what I was putting down. La 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 la, this is a bubblegum pop song. You know, just stuff like that. So that happens. And then she enters the contest with that song, but oh my gosh, it doesn't feel like her because everybody starts changing the way she is. Everybody starts changing things about her, these little things that are so important to her. Oh no! And so she gets turned into basically Cardi B. I don't know, they gave her pink hair and like completely changed everything about her, made her taller, got rid of her punk rock aesthetic. They're just like, you know, we can't have this little garbage, this little piece of swine in here. We need to make you look like everybody else, okay? And you need to start making songs that are all like, my anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun. You know, you need to start changing yourself a little bit. And she doesn't like that, so she makes this entire song like, what have I done? What have I done? Oh no! And she goes to the producers, and they're like, right, you think you could change yourself back to the way you used to be? No. No, no, no. Go out there and be what we've created. And of course, she sheds that thick skin, becomes who she was meant to be, and plays her original song from the beginning. We get some pretty good visuals here and there, and I enjoyed it overall. It's got a good message about being yourself, and that's pretty much the entire episode. I don't know. There's nothing, like, too crazy to say about it, because, again, it's just a bunch of songs. There was probably, like, 12 different songs in this episode, and they were all fine. Some of them were better than others. I liked her What Have I Done song, and I liked her original song a lot. Everything else was just kind of there, you know? It was just kind of existing. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would probably give it a solid 7. There's nothing bad about it, but there's nothing overly good that would make it, you know, enter the higher ranks of rating. Taking a look at one of the supposed worst episodes in the series, we have the episode The Sound of Silence, and I couldn't really fathom why this episode would be that hated other than just, like, the theme of bullying. That was really it, but even the bullying that goes on in this episode is considerably tame. Like, it's not even that bad, and I can completely understand why it happens. Like, yeah, it sucks, but everything that he went through just objectively wasn't even that bad. It focuses on Lincoln, the boy character in the family, and he is sick of all the noise that's going on in his family. The episode opens with him walking, and he's excited to read a comic book, so he starts undressing, and my immediate thoughts were, oh oh no, oh god, oh, there's a 45-year-old man somewhere and he's drawing some fan art the second he sees him undressing himself. That just worried me a little bit, you know, and he's just sitting there laying in bed, he's trying to read his comics, and it gets super loud because all his sisters keep interrupting him, so he goes to a bunch of different places, he hides everywhere. I guess I thoroughly enjoyed when he was hiding inside of the dumpster and his sister finds him in there and is like, hey Lincoln, let me tell you something, you know what else, has 4 wheels and flies? A garbage truck.
What has 4 wheels and flies? A garbage truck.
You know, just was such a comedy act right there. And so Lincoln, he's tweaking and he eventually sees an ad on the TV for these noise be gone earbuds. So he starts digging around for a bunch of money, just digging everywhere, and he gets enough money to buy them. So it comes in the mail and he puts them on and he just basically ignores his sisters. And so this starts the entire, situation where his sisters, the very next day, they keep asking him to do all the stuff that he said he would do when he had the earbuds in. So he has to do a bunch of just random nonsense. He gets dragged outside for kickboxing. And this is when we start learning about Lola. And Lola is the beauty pageant, and she apparently asked Lincoln to do something very important, and he doesn't know what that is. And so every single sister tells a really boring story about, how they wronged Lola and Lola wronged them. Like, one sister ate all the pudding, and so she got her soccer ball stabbed.
Okay.
And then just throughout the episode, Lincoln is doing all of these silly tasks and getting a brand new story each time. And each story is more underwhelming than the last. Like, maybe that's the problem. It's just unbelievably boring. Like, you can't think of anything clever. Like, oh, the sister was addicted to her phone. She got her phone boiled. Like, that's it. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of boring. So Lincoln's doing all of these tasks, all of these shenanigans to try to, benefit all of the sisters, as well as try to figure out what Lola wants him to do. And we get so many different and silly stories. And then he eventually has to do all the chores for this one sister, like all the chores around the house. And then eventually he's hiding in his room because Lola shows up. And he's just like, oh, please don't hurt me. Oh, no, please. And it turns out that it was just all one big ploy to confuse him, and he never actually had to do anything because the sisters immediately found out that he had noise cancellation earbuds in, because obviously when you're just responding with, yes, sis, when your sister says, oh, please, will you help me adjust my guitar strings? And then you don't get up, they're obviously gonna figure out that it was all some kind of conspiracy. Now, I don't know, this episode really wasn't like that bad, but it's so far the show does the one thing that you should never do. It's boring. You could be bad and still be entertaining, but when you're this boring and there's nothing to cling on to, it's even worse than watching something that is actually awful. It's just mid. I hate it. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, it would get a 4 out of 10 for doing absolutely nothing creative. All of the problems in the episode were just boring. All the jokes were just flopping. I just wasn't really a fan of this one. Taking a look at the episode Space Invader, I feel like a lot of the show, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if you're a Loud House fan, is just Lincoln being mercilessly bullied by a lot of other characters, specifically his sisters, for the majority of the episode, and then the episode always just ends with Lincoln being all like, oh, but it's okay because we're a family, ain't nothing wrong with what we go through when it comes to family. I feel like that's like the majority of the plot resolutions, at least what I've seen so far. As long as we're family, oh, you can do whatever you want to me. So this episode opens with Lincoln just saying how much he loves having his own space. He loves to have his own room. It's great because when you have 10 sisters, you might need a little bit of peace and quiet, at least every now and then. And then we cut to some of his sisters, that being Lucy and the goth sister. I don't know the goth sister's name, but Lucy, they're all fighting and getting like angry at each other, and all the sisters are watching, and Lincoln comes over and is watching it, and we get one of the most thrilling jokes I've ever seen. Like, genuinely something that made me want to stand up and start clapping, literally want to march my ass all the way to a comedy club and just show them this clip, because holy shit, this is just unbelievably hilarious, where one of the sisters is all like, I can't bear to watch this, luckily I don't have to, and she puts on cucumbers over her eyes, and she's like wearing like sleep stuff, and Yay. That was so funny. That was so funny. So that fight happens, and then Lincoln goes to his room. He's about to have a nice, peaceful evening all to himself. Oh, it's going to be so exquisite. And then his sister Lucy shows up at the door knocking and is like, "Oh, please let me stay with you. Oh, I have a hernia. I have a hernia, and that goth bitch over there. Oh, she's just making it so hard. Please let me stay. Lincoln, oh, please." And so Lincoln, being the kind brother that he is, he lets her in to his own room, his private domicile, somewhere that he can stay and feel like himself, somewhere that he can enjoy his little bits of privacy, is now infiltrated by the one with the vag. It is a problem. She's now in there, and just immediately, it's non-stop harassment. She is just touching all of his stuff, breaking his stuff, complaining that his room is lame as hell. Where's all the balls? Where is everything that she could possibly need to have a good time? There is none of that. She starts to wrestle him and beat him to a bloody fucking pulp, and he's just like, "What is going on? I did this out of the kindness of my heart." You know? And he's just getting his ass beat. They lay down. She's throwing a tennis ball at the wall instead of going to bed because, I don't know, she's got mental issues. This helps me sleep. I don't think it does, Lucy. I don't think it does at all. So then he's just sitting there, you know, he's trying to get content with the tennis ball throwing, and this woman has the audacity to grab Lincoln, shove him underneath the pillow, and just rip the stankiest ass imaginable as he's fleeing and begging for help.
Dutch oven!
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? He didn't have to let you in there. Yeah, so he just gets bullied for a very long time, just gets stankied ass all over. So he tries to do a bunch of things that will get her to leave. You know? And first, he's like, okay, if she doesn't like the goth girl, then he's gonna try and be goth. So he gets all gothed up, and he's like, darkness! And Lucy sees right through this, and is just like, oh, you're the best brother ever. And so he decides that he's going to try and, like, brutally assault her, so he starts beating her to a bloody pulp. She doesn't care because she's into that. And then he even tries to stank-ass her. He fucking pulls her under the blanket, stanks all over her, just massive stank, and she gets unbelievably excited by this. Unbelievably excited. She's like, oh my god, my brother just stanked all over my face. Oh dear. And she moves in all of her stuff into Lincoln's room and now wants permanent residence in that room. Poor Lincoln. Poor Lincoln. Truly a travesty what is going on in this man's life. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to solve any of his problems. He is just going through the motions, and it is a struggle, ladies and gentlemen. So he comes up with one brand new idea, and that is to have them have a little spaghetti dinner, because what else could possibly fix all of the problems? Spaghetti dinner fixes all your problems. So he sets up the spaghetti dinner, and they're having spaghetti dinner, but they both start saying the same things like, oh, yeah, I apologize to you. I wasn't gonna apologize to you, you buffoon. And so Lincoln goes in there, and he's like, wait, let me tell you something. You guys love each other. You guys appreciate each other, and you guys miss each other. And then they're like, oh my god, you're so right. You're so right. And then they make up and start having a little spaghetti food fight happy ending, and they both end up having to stay in Lincoln's room to end the episode because they got their room just too dang messy. And that's the entire episode, and it's definitely okay, I guess. I don't know. I think it's better than the fucking worst episode that I watched, but does it do a whole lot that truly keeps me happy and invested? Not really. I mean, the beginning of it is literally just Lincoln getting harassed, and if you're into a poor child just getting beat up and then stanked all over, then you probably thought it was the funniest thing you've ever seen. If you're not that into that, then that's pretty much all the episode truly has to offer, is just, you know, getting stanked on, beating people up. I guess it's entertaining nonetheless, but either way, it's still boring at times and honestly just mid. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would give it a 5 out of 10. The next episode that I took a look at was called The Rector's Rut, and it opens with a fantasy world. Oh, as Luann Loud thinks about her potential play, and it's all about this really rad server skater girl who is just so impressive with the crowd that she goes up and is just the talk of the town, the comedy guru, somebody extra funny without a dumpy, you know, just everything you could possibly need to be an ultimate comedian. So it all just turns out that it's Luann writing a play, and she's very excited about that. She submits it, goes to the school, and it turns out that she wins the contest, which means that everybody has to conform and do her play. So how exciting. You know, she's very thrilled about this. It's exactly what she's always wanted to do. She's wanted to direct a play, and everybody just ruins it. And I feel like, genuinely, every single episode almost has had that same plot line, where it's just, you know, a specific amount of characters just bullying one character, doing everything they want to do, just for it to all end nice and happy at the end, for them to realize the most basic fucking, like, realizations you could ever imagine. Like, it's all dumb. Everybody... they start to hijack the play a little bit, okay? So she's like trying to get through this one scene. It's like the first scene they're doing, and one kid is just sitting there like...
Cut, Rex, what are you doing?
And she's like, What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? And he's like, I think my character has, like, some nasal issues. And she's like, you're not even in this scene. And then another girl chimes in and she's like, well, I'm in this scene and we have on-screen chemistry and it needs to be established. So he's gonna be sitting here with his nasally fucking laugh going, and it's just kind of stupid. And then a lot of characters keep changing the scenes like it's not a musical play, and then one character's just like, you know, just doing all that nonsense. And then another character is just like completely changing the background of the main character, just doing everything that they could possibly want, not taking into consideration that it's literally not their play and they're supposed to be good workers and do what they're told. So Luann gets the bright idea to get out this little guy that can help, and the dummy's all like,
all right, everybody, you're gonna start, you know, pulling your strings, doing it my way or the highway.
And he just starts throwing pies, everybody,
A pie here, a pie there, throwing pies at literally everybody just to make them all conform to the rules because they're all stupid bitches.
And like, I was pretty okay with this. I was like, you know, you're gonna hijack my play, you deserve a little bit of vengeance, and if it takes getting custard thrown at you, then that's what you deserve. I was all for it. And then everybody just has the audacity to like just go home being all sour pusses, like their heads down after a hard day of labor. Why are you upset? Oh, I didn't get what I had to do what I wanted, so I'm gonna quit and just bitch and moan. Like, you didn't win the playwriting contest, it's your fault, Luann won. So I was on Luann's side here, and of course, everybody quits, so Luann has to go out of her way to apologize to everybody, which I thought was stupid. They were all ruining your play. Like, can you imagine somebody writing something like with a character background, how you're supposed to behave, and you're gonna start singing and saying that you're from Ethiopia when the character's from Brooklyn? It would piss me off. So, oh my god, I have to act how the way the director wants to, and she's being mean about it because I wasn't acting the way that they wanted. That's stupid. But either way, I get why it's being done. It's supposed to showcase that people can change and you can make other people happy regardless of your own feelings. So Luann apologizes, they all apologize to each other, and then they have the play and it all goes super well. Yippee, yippee doo, woo, that's the entire episode. And again, like, it's fine, but it's painfully boring. It's just like the most mid show I've ever seen. There's nothing that, you know, exemplifies like super well thought out jokes. There's nothing that makes me ever want to come back and watch an episode ever again. Like, it's just kind of slop. Like, I don't really care for it. Like, if it was on and it was the first time I was watching a episode, I bet I could watch a ton of episodes, but I would never want to go back to the series. And this would never be my first choice. I don't know. There's just not a whole lot to it. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would give it a 5. You know? It just never really goes past that. Now, taking a look at the episode Friday Night Fights, this one is just even more boring than the others. It follows the character Lucy and the Brainiac sister. Lucy has a really tough football game and she's just sad, so the Brainiac sister, she's all like, I can help you with some really important calculations. I can make this all work for you, you know, because it's really all a hypothesis. It's all an equation, and I can make it go so well for you. So she signs up as an assistant coach for the football team and is going to make everything better. She gets a touchdown bot to help with the practicing, and it's just all really boring, like, at least to me. Like, the thither will be like, okay, so according to my calculations, we need you to run a fly about 13 yards and make the catch right at this point, and it will go well. And then they do exactly that, and like the animation isn't cool enough to make me really care. Just that happens multiple times throughout the episode, where it's just, you really need to go and do this, and everything will turn out just fine and dandy. And then they go and do that, and then eventually, because, you know, it has that same plot line that I've seen in other episodes, take the Simpsons baseball episode, for example. Have you seen that one where Lisa tries to coach baseball and takes the fun out of the game? That's exactly what happens here, because the Brainiac sisters are like, well, clearly your friends, they all fucking suck at this game. Like, look at this, like, long pencil over here. They can't do shit. So she gets a bunch of different teammates and benches a bunch of other teammates, and this makes Lucy angry, and they start losing even because there's no chemistry, there's no love, it's just all numbers and equations, and that's never gonna solve anything, is it? So eventually the Brainiac realizes her mistake, gets all the friends back, and they manage to have a really fun game of football. And that's pretty much the entire episode. Again, there's just really nothing for me to call out or highlight or make jokes about, because it's just all boring. Like, there's just nothing to cling on to here. Like, the main thing that I focus on is literally, like, just the lisp. Like, that's the main thing I get out of this episode. Like, all right, guys, I know how to do the football. We're gonna run a Hail Mary. I know it's risky, but the numbers in the equation, they say that it's all gonna work out. Like, that's the main thing I'm focusing on, because everything else is just visually unappealing. Just they don't, like, take daring risks and, like, do something that's really funny. It's just, okay, you're gonna run this play, and either it's not gonna work or it's gonna work, and then you're gonna be mad at me or you're gonna be praising me. It's just not that interesting, at least to me. I don't really care for it. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would give it a 4 out of 10. It's fine, but it's not good. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on a couple of episodes of The Loud House, and honestly, overall, it's just painfully mid. I could definitely see why a lot of people would like it. It does have some charm, and sometimes it has an interesting concept. I think having 10 different sisters, all with different personalities, can lead to probably some really good episodes, and I don't fault people for enjoying it. I fault the fandom for what they decide to do with this family, but if we're just looking at the show and not focusing on that, it is just fine. It's not going to be my favorite show. It's not going to be in my top 100. It's just a show that exists that just, you know, it serves its purpose. If it was on and a random episode was on, I really probably wouldn't complain. I'd probably sit down and watch it, but would I ever choose it over, like, OG SpongeBob, Regular Show, Adventure Time, all these other cartoons that have a lot more passion, a lot more thought behind their jokes, and more interesting plots overall? Like, take A Sound for Silence, for example. I know that's listed as one of the worst episodes in the series, but just they're not daring enough with everything they try to do. Like, all the stories about Lola being super angry, they just turned out to be super boring. Like, oh, she boiled the phone. Oh, she stabbed a soccer ball. Oh, she just does just nonchalant stuff that isn't that interesting. They're just not willing to do anything that, like, can surprise you or shock you or have any, like, comedic value, because it's the most tame stuff ever. Like, oh, this girl likes her cell phone, I'm gonna boil her cell phone. It's just kind of boring to me. I feel like they could do a lot more interesting things, like that, the best episode in the series where they were doing all the songs and stuff. They were doing some really visually appealing stuff, and obviously it was because Luna was in a psychotic episode imagining everybody doing all their music stuff, but they could have done more stuff like that just in episodes where the goth girl, like, rises up and has bat wings, where the Brainiac is dancing on the periodic table. I'm sorry, I keep calling her Brainiac. There's so many sisters, I couldn't bother to learn all the names. They just could have done more interesting stuff like that is genuinely supposed to surprise you, but instead it just feels like I'm watching a live action sitcom, which just feels weird for a cartoon, at least for me. So yeah, just overall a pretty mid show. That's really all I gotta say about it. If you guys like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I upload every single day. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you're eating, drinking water, doing stuff to make your day better. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.